People who lost their job due to this crisis. What is your story? I'm a housekeeper at a hotel. Last week they cut our hours from 40 to 32. I was just informed that tomorrow they are shutting down the hotel. Front desk, sales team, and bartenders are being laid off for the time being. Housekeeping will now work 24 hours a week for 2 weeks to deep clean the hotel. But who knows after that? I'm a housekeeper in Maine. I found out Thursday that I'm being laid off indefinitely. Thursday I had a job. Friday I didn't. In 1 week, I lost both of my jobs. I worked at my university and a hotel. Had to move out of my apartment. Can't pay my $800 rent. Landlord not helping. And had to switch to online learning as a music major. No way in hell will that work. It's 4:58 in the morning. I woke up from a nightmare and woke up in a nightmare. Edit because a couple people decided they should attempt to save me from a music major. I'm a music education major. Please mind your business. I'm not looking for career advice. Fellow Mainer here apply at a golf course. They are all opening really soon, so people can get outside and not go stir crazy. All the courses are now hiring their grounds and maintenance crew. Anyone can do it, and it's wonderful being outside all day. Source husband runs a golf course. I haven't been laid off, but I answer for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, and we are having so many calls where someone is thinking about killing themselves because they were laid off. It's absolutely awful. I have no answers for these people, and I wish I had the power to provide for them. Hey, I also answer calls for Lifeline and the Disaster and Distress Helpline. It's fucking rough on the lines right now. Sending you lots of support and love. I've called you people. A call I'll never forget. The helpies, why I'm here today. Thank you. I was a bartender. The bars and restaurants were shut down. I was actually relieved because, not gonna lie, I was afraid of dealing with so many people and all the glasses. People will just kept coming to if the state hadn't shut us down. You're right. No doubt they would have kept coming in. Our governor just scolded the community because while the bars and restaurants were closed as of Monday, he stated that he didn't want social gatherings of more than 50 people. So of course, there is a park/playground area in a part of town that actually has a higher concentration of virus confirmations. And just yesterday all of these families took their kids to this park. People stated there were probably 200 plus cars in the parking lot and tons of children and adults hanging out together. The state police eventually shut it down. However, it caused the governor to now take more drastic actions and ended up closing other facilities that were still open to the public. And now, only groups of 10 or less allowed, and he's enforcing this rule by law now. He was visibly pissed. People being stupid are what's going to make this so much worse and last so much longer than it could have been. My experience is pretty unique. In a nutshell, my wife and I live in New Zealand and had planned a 2-year working visa in Toronto. We were supposed to leave in April, so we had obviously already handed in our notices of resignation to our bosses. Long story short, Canada shut its borders and my boss has already hired my replacement. As a side note, they shut the borders on my birthday. Hey man, just wanted to let you know I arrived in Toronto on that same 2-year visa from Scotland like 2.5 months ago. I got a job and everything set up and now it's all being thrown into disarray and I'm sort of stranded over here. At least until things calm down. I sort of wish I was in your shoes, minus the replacement stuff that sucks regardless. Stay strong and who knows, maybe see you out here at some point if my lungs don't implode. Mate, life's a bastard sometimes. I definitely don't envy your predicament, but chin up and stay safe out there. My husband got laid off on Tuesday. He works about 3 minutes down the road from my work. He showed up at my work with tears in his eyes, apologizing to me for not doing good enough to be kept. He works at a car dealership as an auto technician, where they let go of 4 techs that day cause of decreasing business. They are letting go of more people this Saturday. My brother is a mechanic there and is scared to lose his job too. They told my husband that when business picks back up, they might call and ask him to come work for them again. Thankfully, I work in the lab of a hospital. So my job is pretty secure. I keep telling my husband that we'll get through it, but I know it's taking a toll on him. I've read through dozens of these posts, and they're all heartbreaking. But we will all come out the other end for the better. I'm hoping for anyway. Having said that, as a former tech, I'd say good riddance to the industry. I know that sounds incredibly insensitive, because it was income. I know and I get it. But the auto industry, specifically dealerships for techs, is a hellhole. And the audacity to say they might hire him back. Please. I feel for him, because I know that feeling of I wasn't good enough to keep around. But if he feels that much sorrow over it, means he put his heart into it. Someone like him needs to get into a career where he's valued. And that's certainly not tech life. Wishing the best for the both of you. Hoping someday to come back and read he's kicking ass at whatever he's doing. Valued. All of us just long to be valued in some way, and more so when providing. But being valued at your work, whatever it is a true boost. Construction. The whole construction site was laid off, and with the way things are going, the company owner thinks it'll be at least a year before they consider hiring me back. Started 3 months ago, and that's at least 50 other people affected. Just for this site, the company had several other sites that they laid off employees to. I'm just lucky I'm still living with my parents, and dad works his online for the general public, so he's nice and busy. Edit. Sign everyone and their dog is asking. I'm in Canada, Alberta. The site I was on was shut down by the owner. Beyond that, IDK, and thanks to the bunch of you that offered to help/hire. I was kinda surprised at that. Wow. I wasn't expecting construction to be an industry hit this soon from this. All trades are going to be hit by this one way or another. I'm a plumber who mostly does residential service calls, and people haven't been calling unless they have an emergency that needs to be taken care of. Luckily I work for a family company, just myself, my dad and my brother, and we've just been referring potential customers to other businesses who are still working. My dad's in his 60s, and with the small amount of overhead that he has, he figures it's better to be safe for a couple weeks, since he knows all of us are going to be okay financially if we miss work for a couple weeks. I haven't lost my job, but my small software company instituted 30% pay cut across the board. They say it'll be reevaluated every month. Clients keep cancelling or postponing projects, so I'm good this month, but could easily lose it next month. I'm just happy they decided to cut pay instead of fire 30% of the workforce, so everyone can keep their health coverage. That, and I'm not sure I wouldn't have been part of that 30%. Having the same concerns here. Dev for a large software shop exclusively serving the auto sales industry. If we have to shelter in place for a few months and nobody buys cars, our cash flow is going to disappear. Lots of people out of work, thousands. Might be a good idea to look for remote work in the medical industry before every dev that's been laid off in April is competing. Also, remote work companies will be in high demand, providing tele-something services, and probably ISPs as their oversubscribed customer base suddenly using services 24/7 is going to overwhelm them. Maybe cloud/auto scaling experience would be good here. Work for a furniture company whose customer base is hotels. Very concerned about the coming months. Possible silver lining after this is over. Hopefully all of these hotels will want new furniture as they throw out the old contaminated furniture. My mom works in vacation rentals doing housekeeping. She's 61, diabetic and has coughed, and lives in a state that has mandatory shutdown of all non-essential businesses. When she was informed they'd be laying people off, but also staying open, she told them she's afraid of getting coronavirus, and they laid her off so she could collect unemployment and continue to pay her bills while staying home safe. They laid her off so she could collect unemployment. That just sounds like such a bizarre system. Here, you can claim partial unemployment as long as your income is below a certain level. Doesn't matter how much you work or whether you're technically employed. All you have to be doing is actively applying for other work in some capacity, and the amount you're paid by the government only decreases by 50 cents per dollar of your income over a minimum limit. So it's always worth taking extra hours or overtime if the opportunity comes up. and I'm fairly sure 1. That the limit for the accompanying discount card is significantly higher than the point at which your government benefit drops to 0. So you can still be eligible for that, even if your cash benefits drop to 0. /za 0 carat 1 yup. Just checked. It's more than 4 times. Closer to 8. If you have kids and are single. Close bracket. Yeah. In the US. You can't collect unemployment unless you're fired for lack of work. If you quit, or are fired for cause, or haven't had full-time employment steadily, you can't collect. I was laid off from my 5-year graphic design job, working for a screen printing and promotional products company. About half of our business involves schools, sports, and events. Obviously none of that is happening currently, so our business has stagnated. They are going to try to operate with a skeleton crew for the next couple months. The hope is to bring everyone back eventually, but I'm not optimistic. Solidarity. I'm a web developer. Pretty much the same industry. Fabric decor. Projection screens. Giant shade structures. Etc. I'm optimistic things will bounce back eventually, and I trust my seer that I will be called back when that happens. He's always been extremely good to all of the employees, and we are good friends at this point, but I'm not optimistic that it'll happen within the next few months. Yeah, it's tough. The demand will definitely be back eventually. Just waiting all this out will suck. If anything, it sounds like we both will have great references if something else surfaces. Good luck. If you are in the UK, the major supermarkets are on a recruitment drive with a fast turnaround of getting people in position. I know this isn't a story about losing a job, but hopefully this helps someone coming to this thread. I'm in the state of Ohio in the US, and I'm seeing a lot of those opportunities too. Texas too. The grocery stores are hiring. Yeah, I just got hired last week, but I think that my first workday isn't gonna happen. That sucks. Be strong, buddy. I'm glad I'm still a student and was only working part-time at Starbucks. Honestly wouldn't be sure what to do if I'm working full-time and got laid off. F&B manager at a large hotel. GM and ours gave me a list of employees to call and inform them that they would all be furloughed. It was the hardest thing I've had to do in my life. I had to stop halfway through the list just to sit in my office and cry. I had to encourage grown men and women that everything would work out and be okay when I had no idea myself if or when it would be. I went to work this morning, worked my normal 10 hours. Then I was laid off at the end of the day. I cried again on the way home. Jesus, this is heartbreaking to read. I worked at a specialty custom cake shop. My bosses are a brother and sister that own the business. They have been terrified of COVID-19 since it started in January and have been throwing around the idea of closing ever since then. When all the employees would panic and ask what would happen to us if you close, they would just say, don't worry about it. We will figure it out. Last week we got an email giving us 6 days notice that we will be closed for the following month with partial pay. By the time we reach the final day we will be open before the month of closing. They told us that we were actually being laid off. The partial pay for the month would be severance and they are unsure of when they will open. They act like this is only temporary, but I know that they are refusing custom cake orders all the way until August. They also make no promises to be able to hire us back after they reopen later this year, since they may not be able to afford it. I just finished my training as a flight attendant for a major European airline. It's been a dream of mine, and I have been putting my love and energy into this training for the past months. I'm in Cancun right now, and it's bittersweet because it's absolutely beautiful here, but at the same time this was my last training flight. I'm now a fully trained flight attendant, and yet no one knows when me and my other new colleagues will actually be getting our work contract, since the airline industry is suffering a lot right now. I think I will cry when landing back in Frankfurt tonight, because I don't know when will be my next flight. But I will put on a brave face and genuine smile for our passengers. At least I will do my best. I work for an airline here in the US. I like your positive attitude. Hang in there and VLGLCK. Hey, Vielen Dank. Thank you so much for your encouraging comment. It's put a smile on my face. I wish you all the best as well. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.